What is up, Kingdom Heads? That's what Kingdom Hearts fans call themselves now, I've decided. How are you doing today? How is everyone doing checking out the channel? We appreciate you very much. We are going to be talking about 5 more worlds, actually. We did one of these that we think Kingdom Hearts still needs going forward, since we do know there will be more games. If you enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more content. We appreciate you very much. And tell us down below what worlds you want to see in the franchise.
Is it Song of the South?
It
could be.
It might be. That might be the wrong answer, but it's an answer.
It is a Disney movie.
Maybe it's so Cinderella 3. I don't know. Let us know what you think down there, and let's hop right into it. Number 5. The first one is WALLE. Was that cringe?
No.
Good.
You actually are you the voice actor for WALL-E?
We're gonna have to cut this out.
Okay.
Well, the thing with WALL-E is that there's a lot of different franchise settings you could do with this, despite it really just being one main film that anyone cares about. The worlds are very interesting because you don't just have Earth, right? Which is covered in trash and, not people, but trash or itself.
Forky.
What was that?
Or Forky.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Forky. Forky, the spinoff. No, with WALL-E, though, you do have Earth, obviously, and that's just a massive trash yard. It's just a massive garbage pit.
Right.
But you also have outer space. There's lots of different planets. There is the whole spaceship type setting where it's like a futuristic utopia city on this cruiser with lots to do on there. There's different settings you could go to. I would assume that, like a lot of Kingdom Hearts settings, or worlds, I guess, they could probably include both.
Yeah.
In the same world, like areas on Earth and areas on the ship that change as you progress through it. There's a lot of different characters here as well. I mean, there is WALL-E, there's Eve, there's the captain. There are these different characters that you could incorporate into the story, and sci-fi elements that I think would be interesting in Kingdom Hearts, which we've already seen, pop up a lot, especially in things like the world for Stitch, you know?
Yeah, I think what would work best for this is, sometimes they do a world that actually follows along the story of the movie, but then other times they add on to the story of the movie. I think what would work the best for this would just be following the story of the movie, because, well, it would be cool to add on to the movie and maybe experienced Earth as they're trying to regrow the population. I think it would be cool to start out on Earth with WALL-E, and then you go up in the spaceship and go on to the ship. I don't even remember what it's called. And then you actually have a villain, which is the ship itself.
Yeah.
The steering wheel thing.
There is the robotic intelligence that wants to keep them from going back to Earth.
Right.
But I do think that, yes, there is that you could work with. You could also work with the nobodies and the heartless very easily, because one of the main villains in this story is humankind.
Yeah.
Actually, we don't need to get
obesity.
We don't need to get super deep here, but just human laziness.
Right.
Kind of how humans had it so easy that they just quit. So there's themes you could work with there that would be really interesting. And again, the sci-fi, all of that could be very interestingly incorporated into the game, I think, following that story as well. Number 4. It's the 4th one.
4.
The next one we have is actually a Disney movie. Seriously, it is. You can look it up if you don't believe us. Oz the Great and the Powerful. Now, the original Wizard of Oz is not Disney. Disney got the rights to make this spin-off prequel film to the original movie, which is about the original Wizard of Oz. Now, I know there's been a lot of kerfuffle around James Franco lately. So you don't have to include...
It's not proven. You can include him.
You could include him. Yeah, I don't really care either way, but you don't have to include him. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just the whole thing with Johnny Depp and Jack Sparrow and stuff. It's not like you could never include Pirates of the Caribbean again, even if Disney was being really wishy-washy, and they were like, we can't include Johnny even though public opinion's on his side.
Yeah.
Which I bet they do. But it doesn't mean that you can't use those characters. Those characters still exist outside of that one voice actor or whatever. So I think that it would still be doable with or without him. The whole thing with Oz the Great and the Powerful is that there is different settings for this, but I think the most interesting is in Oz, obviously, because there is a setting out in the real world on Earth, right? Early on in the movie, but I don't think you really need to go there. I think that you could very easily, again, follow the storyline of the movie. It's about this magician who's essentially a sleight of hand magician. He's not an actual magic magician, who has convinced everyone that he is a magic magician, who's traveling through this land with different companions who believe in him more than he believes in himself. And he slowly over time goes from kind of this shallow douchebag to actually a pretty cool, good person who cares about the people around him and tries to help them. There's a lot of character development there, and there's a lot of fantasy elements too with what you can include in the movie, from the porcelain people all the way down to the flying monkeys to the witches, whatever you want to include here. The Emerald City. There's a lot of settings and different aspects of this universe you can include. Plus, like, think about it. That level of character development, very easy to tie that into the overall narrative of Kingdom Hearts, whatever's going on with Sora.
Right. Yeah, I think my favorite part about this is actually just the settings and the amount of potential for that. Like, you have the Emerald City, like you said. You have, like, that porcelain city. You could even include some elements from Wizard of Oz, like go to, like, the Munchkin Land or something like that. And remember also that graveyard from this movie? I don't know, there's just a lot of options that you can go to that I think are all pretty cool and pretty unique. That was actually always one of my favorite things about Wizard of Oz and Oz and Great Powerful, was the world itself of Oz is really unique, with a lot of different unique worlds and lands and towns, and it's just pretty cool.
I think it would be easy too to spin off enemies off of that.
Yeah.
Because the enemy designs are usually based in the world that they're in.
Yeah, they're based.
Yeah, they're based. They have very based opinion.
Yeah.
No, but these enemy designs are based off of whatever that world is. If it's Pirates of the Caribbean, they're kind of pirate themed. If it's Nightmare Before Christmas, they're Halloween themed. I think that theming Heartless or Nobodies or Unversed or whatever you want after the Wizard of Oz stories, you know, even if you want to go to the books for inspiration or something like that, I don't know if they can.
Right.
I don't know if they can only use what they made in that movie or not. I don't know the rights of that. But I think that there's a lot you could do with that and the character development and all that different stuff. Plus, you know, it's just another unique fantasy land for Sora and friends to explore that would really add to the overall flavor of the game, I suppose. I mean, also think about this. A Emerald City Keyblade.
That would be awesome.
Or a Keyblade called the Yellow Brick Road or something like that.
That'd be really cool.
There's a lot of different stuff you could do with the weapons even.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'd love to see this. Number three. The next one is Raya and the Last Dragon. Now, there's a lot of different characters in here, like Raya, Sisu, Numari. Different characters you could do a lot with in terms of the storyline, and even villains that you could include in the story. And there is a unique mythology here with people turning into stone and just the curse and everything going on. I don't know. I couldn't see this really going bad unless you had no story direction.
Yeah, and I think there's just a lot of different world elements to this as well. Like, the whole world of this movie is huge. You know, you have the 5 different lands. I don't remember what they're called, but you have the 5 different lands.
The Fire Nation.
Yep.
It all started when the Fire Nation attacked.
Basically. That would be another good one for Kingdom Hearts. Anyways.
They don't own that.
So anyways, yeah, there's a lot of different cool stuff you could do with this movie, and, you know, a lot of different elements you could include with, like, the dragons. I actually think it would be cool to make a Kingdom Hearts game that takes place after the movie. So you have all the dragons already running around, and you can, like, you know, interact with them, do a story with them, hang out, whatever. I don't know. I just think I think the dragons are really cool.
Yeah, I do too, and I think that you could still bring back Sisu and these other characters as well. That
no,
we know
she's
about.
dead.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, man.
Oh, sorry.
Don't ruin this movie for everybody, the 2 people that didn't watch it that actually care. No, but with this movie too, again, it's a fantasy land. There's a lot of different unique cosmetics or weapons you can make out of this with the different elements from this movie. I think, again, the character development of Raya and also of Numari ties very well into the Sora storyline, or if you want to go with a different character, because when it comes to Kingdom Hearts, they always try to tie the worlds into the main narrative.
Yeah.
So if Jack Skellington in the first game is learning about what a heart is, part of it is also about Sora learning that. You know, if in Tarzan's world, right? In Deep Jungle, it's about Tarzan, like people learning to accept Tarzan, right? And learning that he's just as deep of a person as everyone else is, even though he doesn't seem like he is.
Right.
And how he has these more layers to him, like an onion, like Shrek. Sora's learning that too.
Right.
And that's kind of the point of all of these games, is that you see the main narrative interact with the storyline of the world. Now, sometimes it's better than other times, sometimes it's worse than other times, but that's the goal. And I think that Raya and the Last Dragon has a lot of potential to interact with the Kingdom Hearts storyline and do well there. Plus, think about this. They almost always, in a lot of these worlds, would include a guest character that you could play with, put on your party. Raya. That's very
Perfect.
easy. Raya.
Yeah.
Just simple.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I could also see Sisu being a summon.
Yeah, I could also see some of the other characters, and now they're not going to be as cool, but
Right.
the other characters in the party work too.
Like the baby.
No, maybe not the baby, but
You want the baby.
I want the baby. I want the baby.
He pulls up. Is there anything else you have about Raya, though? I just think it would be really neat to see. And this is a underrated movie, I think. This came out during the OCOF, and a lot of people weren't really willing to go see it in theaters. And it was a
Right.
lot of money on Disney Plus, and people didn't pay for it. So I think that a lot of people just never saw this.
Mm-hmm.
But it has a lot of potential.
Yeah, I mean the movie itself is amazing. First of all, second of all, the movie actually works with a Kingdom Hearts story as well. Not just the story, but I'm talking the world, the story, the villains, the themes, everything. Like it just fits. You know, you don't really have to stretch to fit to make. You know, okay.
But you could.
You might have to stretch, yeah. No, you
You
don't
could.
really have to stretch that hard to really make this work.
Right.
You know.
But
So,
if you're willing to stretch
if you-
it, you can.
you can if
You
you
certainly
if,
can.
if you try
As
hard
long as you
enough.
have permission.
Right.
Number two, the numero dos. The next one we have, Nate's mainly going to take this because for me, I like this movie a lot, but it's actually been probably 10 years since I watched it, which is Robin Hood from Disney. Now, this is the
Yes.
one obviously with the animals.
Right. Yeah, not the Kari Elwes Men in Tights one.
Right.
But anyways, Robin Hood. This is a very underrated Disney movie, I think. It's not really one of their mainstream, you know, like top front line.
This
Disney
is like
movies.
underground
It's
indie
like-
Disney. Like we got like an indie band curator.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm just making fun of you. Go ahead.
Okay, but it's really good. It is really good. It's about the story of Robin Hood, but except for the characters are animals.
Right.
And I just think there's a lot of cool options you could do with this. Like the world itself, is obviously about the story of Robin Hood. You have Robin Hood, Little John, their fight to save the princess. I forgot her name.
Short body positive John, please.
Sorry, I'm very sorry. I offended all people named John.
That's okay. We will recast him.
big.
We will recast him as someone morbidly obese to be accepting in the
would
live
be
action
cool.
reboot. So
he can't walk.
yeah, be happy with that. He'll
So-
have a hover around.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of cool options you could do. Like you could participate in the games, like the archery contest, stuff like that. That could be really fun.
Worth mentioning, you could easily transform Sora into an animal again.
Yeah, I mean they did that with Lion King. They did that with kind of with the Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
He turned into like a mermaid, but
Yeah, there's different ways to do that. I mean, you could essentially transform Sora and the party around that. I mean, Donald and Goofy already work.
right.
They already
just
are
work.
animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Todd. But I think there's a lot of different ways to incorporate the party into that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Keyblade, there's a weapon in every world, basically, and it's obvious, just base it off of Robin Hood. I mean, this is a pretty
in-depth.
Well, it's a pretty
statement.
rich mythology. Like,
Right.
what do you need here? Like, you don't
Right.
need someone to draw you a picture. There's a
Well,
lot you could do with
Since
that.
Robin Hood is like a medieval movie, you could have it be some sort of like sword.
Right? That's true.
So-
Or a crossover with medieval.
You could.
A true documentary of
You
medieval
could.
history.
You could.
Well, what else do you think about this? Is there anything else you'd really want to see if this popped up in a game?
Yeah, the one thing I actually would love to see is actually remember the rooster and his pretty amazing songs he sings. He has like the song at the beginning and then also the song Not in Nottingham when they're in the jail. I want to see those songs.
I just remember the song that he sang when he was in the South.
That is my favorite one.
It was a pretty good song.
That's a good one. Pretty intense.
Honorary mentions. The next one is actually an honorary mention, and my wife Jill is going to talk about it because I've only seen bits and pieces of these movies, but she really wanted it included and thought it would be very good. It actually ties into the overall Kingdom Hearts storyline that was started with the Peter Pan worlds, which is Tinkerbell and Pixie Hollow.
There's a lot of Tinkerbell movies, actually, that include being in Pixie Hollow and Tinkerbell's sort of origin story in a way, and shows off a lot of her friends who have magical talents. So having Sora here would be a really magical world and would obviously give him the ability to fly if they sprinkled him with pixie dust.
Which he had in the first Kingdom Hearts game when he went to Neverland.
So it would be really fun.
Yes.
And it would tie in well to the story. And you could also have Tinkerbell and all of her friends' magic talents help you with fighting villains or something like that. And also Captain Hook exists in the whole Pixie Hollow universe as well.
Is he Captain Hook yet, or did he get promoted to that eventually and he was actually Sergeant Hook?
He's actually...
Sergeant is under a captain.
So he got promoted to Captain. He's Sergeant Hook and then he gets promoted to Captain.
It's a
no,
prequel.
but you're not wrong. He's actually young and he's not Captain yet in these movies.
Cool.
And you actually see the origin of how the crocodile, I think it is, gets that TikTok in his head.
And does Private Hook say, "Do you want to see my private hook?"
Yes. But he could very much so pose a threat if you based it off of Tinkerbell and the Pirate Fairy, one of the later movies. And there's also a lot of very interesting animals in those movies.
Isn't Tinkerbell's sister in this too?
Yeah, she has a sister in some of them. You could easily include her as well. Her name is Periwinkle. And you could also include the interesting animals like the Never Beast from the last movie, or all of the animals that just exist in the whole universe that could fight alongside Fawn and the rest of them.
Well, the thing with this too is that Sora and pals actually travel back in time in Disney Castle already to the past of the same world that they were in. They go to Timeless River, which is essentially Disney Castle and that land long before it became that, right? So they get to go back in time and interact with these past versions of the characters. So my point is just that if someone wants to say like, well, they already did Peter Pan, they can't go back in time, they easily can. They've done this before. Like, the whole world is filled with magic, plus the land of Neverland is even more filled with magic.
And you could have Tinkerbell in your party, and she would be able to make you awesome weapons. In fact, it would actually be really incredible if Tinkerbell was able to tinker up the keystone or something for you to use on the rest of your journey.
Well, plus, by the way, can I throw in here that you'd be able to turn the party of whoever you play, as I assume Sora, but maybe someone else in this game, into fairies. You know, into fairy-sized people. So that would be another way to transform the characters and make them more unique for this versus it just being Neverland 2.
I mean, if they weren't fairy-sized, they'd probably accidentally step on the fairies.
That would never happen. And again, this is adult Sora. I need my own personal satisfaction here. So I need a way to romance Tinkerbell and Periwinkle at the same time. And he has to be fairy-sized for that to work for my headcanon and fantasies.
You could also romance Silver Mist, who's very pretty. Has nice blue hair.
You need to leave this world with a harem of pixies, or I'm not satisfied.
She's got a water talent, so she could be pretty wet.
And I mean literally satisfied.
Number 1! Splat.
The final one we have is The Incredibles. Now, there's a lot you could do with this. I know they already had a superhero world with, Big Hero 6, but there's quite a bit that could be done with and to The Incredibles. Now, when we look at the characters, there's obviously Mr. Incredible, Mrs. Incredible, who's really hot, Violet, there's Dash, there's Syndrome,
and Jack.
And Jack, yes, but
and Frozone.
There's a very interesting world to go to. I think you'd have to set this after the first movie.
Mm-hmm. Like in between 1 and 2?
Yeah, probably, or after 2, or during 2. I don't think you can set this when superheroes are outlawed very easily. I suppose you could.
Right.
And do a storyline with that. Hope, you wouldn't be arrested by the police or anything. This is Kingdom Hearts. But I suppose you could. I just think that would be a more difficult story to do, unless you were on the island fighting Syndrome.
Right. Yeah, I think there's some cool options they could do. I think it would be also neat to have it before Incredibles 1, during the age of superheroes.
The golden age.
Yeah, like
that's a good idea.
Like you could have it. You could be.
Whoa.
Wow.
You okay?
You can be fighting alongside superheroes like Gazer Beam. You know, and wasn't there like a Thunder Trap or something?
Thundercock.
I don't remember what the name was. Anyways, I don't know. There's a lot of superheroes that exist in this world pre-Syndrome. And I think there's just a lot of cool options of what you can do.
There are a lot of different villains you could work with. Underminer, Syndrome, Bomb Voyage.
Oh, I love Bomb Voyage. Did you know Bomb Voyage, kind of a side note, he appears in the movie Ratatouille.
Really?
Yeah, it's like an Easter egg.
So they're in the same universe.
Except for this time, he's just a mime on the streets of France.
With a bomb.
Yeah, he's actually blowing people up in France.
Oh,
but no,
I never noticed him.
Yeah, he appears in the background. Bomb Voyage does, but he's just a regular mime. But anyways.
A terrorist mime.
Yes.
Epic. Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different characters you can include here. The superhero themes of growth, again, can very easily tie into the Kingdom Hearts world. I mean, this one's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It worked so well with Big Hero 6. Big Hero 6?
Yeah, Big Heroes 6.
6. And I don't know why it wouldn't here.
Yeah, I mean, the powers of the superheroes work well with just Sora, because he already has, like, superpowers.
And
basically.
combat.
And combat, yeah. There's a lot of magic options you can do. A lot of cool, like, Kingdom Hearts. A lot of cool team-ups.
Well, look at the settings. You have the city. You have the island. You have places like the testing facility.
You have the space between Helen's legs.
That's very true. Helen could be a map because of how much she can stretch.
She can also just be a map on Twitter.
I hope she's not.
Okay.
But if
she could be.
But if she is, Twitter will protect her.
That's true.
Because that's a protected class. But I don't notice maps because I don't see color.
Right. You're progressive.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot you could do with this. Again, I know we've said that 100 times about every entry, but the potential is pretty limitless with a superhero world. And I think that one of the big missed opportunities with Big Hero 6 is that they didn't show any kind of costumes.
Yeah.
For like Sora or Gru, really. I mean, yeah, you get your little dumb headband where you can, your little Oculus VR headset knockoff in that world, but you don't really get to see San Francisco in terms of San Fran Tokyo. Sorry.
Wow.
San Francisco or whatever it is. The same way that other people do as a hero.
Yeah.
You're just kind of yourself. And I think that it would have been interesting to give Sora a little cute costume and dress him up and make him a little superhero.
Have him go to Edna Mode's house and you can actually design your own superhero costume.
That was epic.
I thought we were going to Edna Mode's house for a different reason.
No. Sora's not at Helen Parr here.
What?
A map.
Oh, okay. Edna Mode's an adult. She's like 40.
She's short enough to still be a kid.
What?
Yeah, I don't
see color.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of options you can do. Like, I think it would be cool to design your own superhero outfit. It would give you some agency or some, place in this world.
Yeah, creative control. I think that's kind of a missed opportunity with Kingdom Hearts in general, is the cosmetics suck.
Yeah, there's like next to none.
Let me customize my character.
Yeah, seriously, it's weird because they introduced this idea, Nomura introduced this idea with Fragmentary Passage of being able to change your costume.
And then it wasn't in 3.
Then it wasn't in 3 at all.
So they could bring it back to this one.
They really should, because people like that.
Yeah.
I don't really know why you'd get rid of that. I think that you can still play as a given character and have some level of character customization, and this world would be a great example of how to do that.
Yeah, well, I just think a cool feature for this game in general, I know this is just specifically worlds, is character customization. Like, every world should have costume customization specific to that world.
Right.
I just think that'd be cool.
When you go to Rapunzel's world, you should be able to wear a dress that looks like Rapunzel's.
When you go to Rapunzel's world, you should be able to wear a bikini made out of hair.
Yeah.
That would be epic.
Yeah. No, well, that's one thing that we're planning on doing, too, is like a video about 5 features that we think the next Kingdom Hearts or the next games in the series need, and that's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
So let us know what you think down below. Are there features you think that Kingdom Hearts needs? Because we are making a list. We're interested in your thoughts. What are 5 worlds you want to see? We'll definitely do another one of these in the future. It's been a few months since we did. Don't really want to milk the topic and, kill it. But let us know.
What's your favorite Disney movie?
Yeah, what is your favorite Disney movie? And why does it belong in Kingdom Hearts? And why is anyone who dislikes it a moron? Just let me know. Just don't use the word moron because YouTube flags those and puts them in spam. So, other than that, let me know. Be sure to have a fantastic day, everyone. Thanks for checking out the video. And as always, stay shui.